So it's been a while since I've actually made a video of the Alienware Aurora R4. I've had every single revision since 2009. I got my very first one on Christmas, so it was a pretty nice Christmas present at that time. But yeah, I went through every single revision, and I'm ending it finally. This is the last time I'll be using it, hopefully. I did just build a new PC with the Obsidian 750D case, which I love. It's a great system so far. It's got a crappy operating system on it though. It's got Windows 11. I've already seen some issues with it, but that's not what this video is about. This one here, I ended up finally retiring this PC where I'm able to take it apart, clean it, and fix what I needed to fix on it, which I've did that. It's done now, which I'm glad. I wasn't officially going to make a video of this. I decided halfway through it when it was a shell that, you know what, I'm going to actually make a video of just some of the things I'm doing and what I need to fix and whatnot. So you're going to see this jump ahead to where it's an empty shell. So just let you know that now. I just wanted you to be aware. So sit back, enjoy, and yeah, you can see what I've done to it. As you can see, the Alienware Aurora R4 is ripped apart in pieces at the moment. I guess this would be like part 2, right? Just because the second part, I was still in the middle of cleaning up the PC from all that cigarette smoke and whatever, about 5 years or something ago. When that ended up getting cleaned, the door in the front there actually had an issue. It would actually not go down, it'd fall down. I found out what the issue is with that, and sometimes it wouldn't even go down at all. This little spring roller down here ended up coming off of the hold down here, which there should have been something to actually hold it in place. Who knows where that is, so I'm probably going to use a bolt on both sides just to keep it in place. That way it'll actually slowly go down. I'm going to put a counter in the bottom right hand corner of how many times I said actually, so my apologies for that, but let's find out how many times I say it. Talking about slowly going down, greasing up the little roller that makes it slowly go down, and just, you know, clean that up. But yeah, you can kind of actually see traces of the cigarette smoke still in here. There's some marks right there. So yeah, this is all got to get cleaned out. Some motherboards over here. So that's obviously the Intel i7-3930K that I've been using for years. Corsair Vengeance DDR3 at 1600 megahertz. This was a very stable system. The only time I actually had blue screens is video editing. So I don't know if there's like some mismanagement going on with the RAM or what, but everything checks out with the system. It was just probably the video editor. But yeah, I'm cleaning it up. Got a bunch of parts over there. I got parts over here. You know, I gotta say that the Alienware Aurora, like Dell themselves, did a massively awesome job with these drive bays. You know, just hot swapping. Stick a drive in there, click it in, pull it out. You don't have to go to the back and screw around with freaking wires like my new case. Stick them in and pull them out, which, you know, they did a great job on that. Yeah, they're gross. Ooh, yeah, everything needs to be cleaned. I wonder what the back of this looks like. Yeah, it's pretty dirty too. You can see some dust marks and whatever. I was planning on, you know, maybe drill a couple holes down right here. Maybe some at the top right here to like stick some of the harness cables through the back end, and then come out through the front here. You know, just try to get rid of some of the spaghetti cables in the front here, but unfortunately that ain't going to work. Harness is on the ground at the moment. Reason why it's not going to work is because they got 3 stupid pieces here. You got a bottom strip, and then you got the second strip, and then another strip on top. And as you see, the ends here, I would actually have to break some parts off and then sneak wires through. It's just a really dumb layout. So I'm not going to do that. It can look the way it was. Would have been nice though. Just drill a hole right here, have wires come through, go out that way, up or whatever, and now stick out wherever it's got to go up here. That way it's less to see, but oh well, what can you do, right? I have the front panel here, which I've never used. It just always stayed off and had a fan, one of those fans over there pointing at it. I have a couple of GTX 555. I think they're 555 or 550s, I can't remember, but I tried getting the drivers to work on this system with it, and it doesn't work. You know, the driver would install and it would show up that it's working, and then NVIDIA just says that the driver, it cannot be installed, and it reverses it back to Microsoft's stupid basic video driver. So unfortunately these cards are garbage, but as long as I can actually see something in the meantime, which is nice. There is another issue, the power button. Gonna replace the power button. I lost a little silver piece. I don't know what the heck happened to that. I might replace the power button yet because it is really hard to deal with. A couple of USB ports here need to go. This one here, the centerpiece actually ripped right off when I went to unplug it. Yeah, the 3.0 wasn't working because I actually had it unplugged. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a bit of time to clean this thing up. Pump and everything's over here. I'm gonna put new thermal paste, obviously clean up all the dust and whatever. Gonna rip you apart too and do the same thing. I tell you, I got a bunch of stuff here I gotta deal with, but anyway, I'm gonna get back at it. It's gonna be a while. I gotta also take off this top too. But right now I'm in the middle of cleaning this, getting some of the parts back on. And then this thing's next to rip off, and then I can get at this. So this is the top of the Alienware Aurora with the USB ports and the power button. I don't have another power button that just pushes in and comes back out. All the other ones I got are clickable, like they click in, stay in, and then you click it in and it comes back out. USB situation, as there is a USB port that's on here that is broken. As you see, it's right here. I'm going to actually have to replace it. Now the issue is the ones that I have are not going straight down through the board, because if you take a look here, you see there's pins. I can barely see it, but there's pins that go straight through the board and onto the other side. So these pins need to go straight down, like this one right here. You see, as these pins are going straight down. Well, unfortunately, all the ones that I do have that are left, which I thought I had a lot more, but these ones are going straight out. So I have another board here. I'm going to try to take this one off of this donor board, which is going straight down, and I'll replace it. I know it's white, it's not black, but it'll do the job. I'll see if I can get away with one of those, but if not, I'll have to take the one off the donor board. But I got to replace that USB port, and yeah, there's nothing to do about the power button. All the other ones that I got are like they click in to stay in. See one of them right here. See, it stays in, comes out, stays in, and then comes back out. So yeah, that doesn't work for a power button. As you see, there's 3 different colors now. There's blue, black, and white. So white is still USB 2.0. The donor is now in there. I kind of cleaned up the board a bit too. So that's good to go. In the middle of cleaning up that, and I gotta say there's way too many parts for the Alienware. It's well over engineered. So right at the moment I'm dealing with the top, the back piece, which I just cleaned it up over here. It's good to go. I was wiping up the back. I still gotta clean that up. And then I gotta tackle this and deal with that mess, which is still dirty. You see some fuzz off of that. But yeah, I'm slowly working on it. Oh yeah, I guess I gotta deal with you too, don't I? Yeah, that's gross too. It's all gross. Technically, it's so gross that I'm thinking, you know, I don't even really want to stick that motherboard back in this PC case. I don't like this case. Now that I've ripped it apart, I just don't like it. I think I might eventually just, you know, keep this motherboard. I know it's DDR3. And I might just put it in a small little PC case and turn it into a NAS. Be pretty good for that. Still a fairly powerful little PC for an NAS. But yeah, I'm gonna continue with this. There is one thing I have forgot to mention, and it actually has to do with the master IO board. I had issues with this thing ramping up the fans to 100% when it's at the BIOS, and when it goes into the desktop, then the application would actually control the fans and lower them down to where I have it set, right? I thought maybe there's an issue with the master IO board, but I have been messing around with this, putting some things in and out of it, and I have noticed that this could have been my problem right here the entire time. The connector's not in all the way. See it right there. But I do want to inspect this thing just to make sure that there's no issues with it. It's still pretty dusty. I gotta clean it off too. Yeah, maybe just a simple connector was the problem. Maybe there wasn't anything wrong with this master IO board, which is surprising because they all eventually fail. Well, I'll find out when I put it all back together. If every single screw goes back in, might actually have some spares. Who knows with that? There's way too many parts to this. Way too many. Talking about that, I was hoping to get the power supply cage out of here, but I guess not. It's riveted into the main case, so I just got to clean around it as best as possible. That's riveted too. Yeah, you see how dusty that is with my finger. There's one thing I didn't mention. The USB 3.0 port on the Alienware here was pretty spotty. It would work sometimes, and then other times it wouldn't work, and then eventually stopped working. Well, I ended up finding out why. When I did take this thing off, the USB-C cable, USB 3.0 cable, ended up falling out. And so whoever put it in didn't put it in all the way, and eventually wiggled out and fell out. I ended up using one of these, a dual USB 3.0. Was just jammed onto the motherboard and was hanging out of the side of the PC, and it did serve its purpose. And so I'll see if I can find some type of use for this new cable. I haven't really used it as much, but there is another thing that I noticed on this. The side here was dented, so I tried to bend it back as best as possible. Some plumbing pliers here, and somebody jammed a bunch of tape up in this area here, so I guess maybe it was vibrating or something, and they just jammed tape, and this had a hard time opening. I fixed it all. This opens really good now. I cleaned all that up, I pulled that off, I cleaned all that up too. Everything's nice and hunky-dory there. I wiped off the inside, the top and the other side. That's been all cleaned. I did screw up a bit here. I went to take this panel off, and this is just a piece of cardboard, this black piece right here. It's a piece of cardboard that I tried pulling out as careful as I can, because it got tape right here, like double-sided sticky tape that you got to peel off to pull it out, and then you can clean in the inside. Well, I ended up ripping it. I don't even know where I ripped it. It was somewhere around here. But yeah, you can't see it, so that's good. I did clean it all up. There were some fuzzy pieces in here, so that obviously bypassed the tape and ended up inside of it. That's all clean. This is clean. That bottom piece is clean. I just blew those pieces off. I haven't did anything with them yet. They still need to be cleaned. Right now, I'm going to tackle this top piece. I'm going to take these 4 screws out. I'm going to try to take the fins off and clean this as well. It looks really dirty, so that's next. So I have the top cleaned. I thought I'd show this part because a lot of people may not have seen the fins in pieces before. So they put the mesh in between the fins here, and it's actually being controlled by one little hole right there, little hex hole, which the motor is dangling. It actually has that same little nut hex on it. Yeah, I already cleaned it up. I'm just ready to assemble it now. Yeah, if you've never seen the fins like that before, now you have. It's just a little bar that moves forward and back. Yeah, so I put the top on, as you can see. It's good to go now. Currently working with the Master I/O board, and I do have some complaints. If you have a look, right at the moment I'm in the middle of, I took that one off and I cleaned around it, and I also cleared that PCB board. I got to take that one off and do that, but my complaint that I have with this is, I'm not going to say it's on every single Alienware, but whoever put this one together drives me up the wall. A lot of these cables were totally knotted where you have to unplug them and untangle them and plug them back in, and this is just the type of crap that I've been seeing through it. And right at the moment, I got to deal with this one right here, right? I got to take it off, but look how it's tied. It's tangled with this wire. Like, who does this? And no, this is not me that did that. But now, that's the type of crap why I'm complaining, and I wanted to show you that because I think this is the last one that's tangled now. There was a lot of them. It's just stupid. Like, if you're gonna start with something, like, you probably start with the LED lights first, right? You want to plug one in, route it, and keep it there. And then plug the second one in, route it, and keep it there. And then you work with the next wire as a layer. Don't just flip it through another wire and call it good. Like, that's so stupid. So it's pretty much back together now. There's a couple of things that I wish I would have fixed, but unfortunately it's a little too late now unless I tear it back apart by removing this panel. As an example, there's a little lever that's in the inside that grabs onto the teeth for the door that makes it slowly go down. And the issue with it is the spring is weak. I should really replace the spring in it, but I didn't do it. So I'll show you what it does. At least it actually slowly goes down now. It doesn't go all the way, but pretty close. Since the spring is weak, listen to it. It actually skips teeth. So that's a bummer, but there's nothing I can do with that unless I take the entire front off again. I would have to take this side off and then the front and then fix that little piece. The little piece I'm talking about is the one that actually has this little nub that comes out. Oh well, not a big deal. At least the door actually opens now. Not all the way, but it is worn out. Currently at the moment of organizing the wires and getting things set up properly, and then route it as best as I can for a case that, you know, can't put wires on the back end. You gotta make do with what you got. I did clean the drive cages. Man, I love these drive cages. They really should have implemented this in newer stuff. I keep saying that if it comes to the Alienware, the best thing about it is this, the drive cages. Still stuff over here I gotta do yet. Still got fans to clean. None of the fans are clean. That hasn't been opened yet. I still gotta get rid of the thermal paste on there. That needs a little bit of cleaning. The cable for it needs cleaning. It looks a little dirty. I gotta deal with all the wiring stuff down here. That all needs to be cleaned. So that's not done yet. I did clean that. Yeah, it's getting there. So I thought I'd show you the wiring job so far. I have a harness right here. Unlike what they didn't do any at all. There's another harness right here. This is actually a modification right here. Because the power button wasn't working properly, I would actually route this thing out through the back and into a touch sensor that I had underneath my desk to turn on the PC. So that was an option. I didn't have to use that, and I just waved my hand and it would turn on. So yeah, that's a harness. This is a harness. That's a harness. So yeah, it kind of looks better now compared to what it did. Plenty of room in here for the actual harness that's down there. But right at the moment, I'm going to be dealing with the pump. I'm going to clean all that up. I've already cleaned up the fans. This one's all nice and clean, ready to go. I accidentally broke off this tab right here, trying to pull this thing out. It ripped off when I was leveraging on this side, pull it out, which kind of sucks, but oh well. I'm gonna clean that, and I want to tackle that and have a look in the inside there just to see what I can clean up. It's been unplugged for quite some time, so the capacitors should be dead, but if not, I can discharge them or just not touch them at all. So I got this little fan to clean up yet. That's still dirty. Leave you sitting there. I still have the fans that originally came in here that were full of cigarette smoke and stuff like that. Yeah, these were the replacements for my older R4. Yeah, I've had 2 of these. Actually, I had 3 because one failed and it was sent back to Alienware. And yeah, actually I've had quite a few of these because a lot of them were sent back to Alienware because of the stupid master IO board, which I hope isn't an issue on this one. Yeah, the fans for the hard drive fan, the case fan, and the back fan would ramp up to 100% because they couldn't actually see the RPMs of the fan. So I thought, okay, baby, there's no RPMs, let's ramp up the fans. That's pretty much how this thing works, and it would sound like a jet constantly. So I think that issue is due to this cable at the top here being loose, and hopefully I fixed that problem. I had to add an extra spring in this. It's pretty tough now. But yeah, she opens, closes good now. They wouldn't do that. You would actually have to manually push it in. So yeah, there's the white USB port. See it right there. I haven't put this on yet. It hasn't been cleaned. These tabs are broken off. Yeah, it would just sit right there. A little silver button. I don't know what I did with it. I put it somewhere where I would never forget where it is, and I guess I forgot where it is. It's around here somewhere, but when I do find it, I can actually fix it then. That's it so far. Back is done. Everything's done. There's one annoying thing. There's a little bar in the center right here that actually makes all the fins connect together. It makes a lot of noise. It wiggles back and forth. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. I was messing around with it, seeing if I could fix it then when I had it apart, but no. Kind of see the bar right there. See it wiggles around just when I do that. So yeah, that's very annoying. Anyway, I'm gonna deal with that over there, clean it up, and then I'm gonna come over here and clean this up. It's actually off of the 1000-watt power supply from the computer that I built right there. You could go over there, but I'll keep you on top of the CPU for now. Just kind of sound like keep it clean, but yeah, I gotta clean that fan. Yeah, I gotta clean the board. It's a little dusty, not too bad. Gotta clean up this fan too, but yeah, just gotta resume what I'm doing. So I just finished cleaning the radiator, and I just wanted to show that the thermal paste was never changed out. If you have a look here, you can see the little grid mark right around the edges right there. And actually, the reason why I'm recording this part is the amount of years that the thermal paste has been on here. This thing was actually doing really good. It would usually sit at max around 56, even playing games or rendering videos. It's pretty good. The radiator got hot, so obviously the pump was doing a really good job. I just wanted to point that out, that I don't even know how old this is. What, 15 years, something like that? A little over? Yeah, it's about 15 years. That the thermal paste was still pretty goddamn good for obviously the original thermal paste that was on there. So I just wanted to point that out, that original thermal paste, 15 years, radiator gets hot, stayed around 56, even running at 100% load. If anybody's curious what type of RAM I have in here, it's Corsair Vengeance. DDR3, 32 gigabytes, 1600 megahertz. Latency is 99924 at 1.50 volts, version 5.21. It's not bad RAM for 1600 megahertz. I have no issues with it, other than I guess Power Director 18 on here, but other than that, no other issues. I'm just cleaning up fans and stuff and try to get inside here as best as I can. But yeah, so the PC is pretty much together now. Everything's in here besides my rainbow puke color stuff and the power supply. Currently working on the power supply right at the moment. And if nobody's ever seen the inside of an Alienware, or I should say Dell, power supply for the Alienware Aurora, this is what it looks like. You got some capacitors right there, transformers, some inductors, some other stuff. You got thermistors there, I can see. A bunch of other capacitors. They all look like they're in good shape too. None of them are bulging, so that's good. Some heat sinks, 3 of them. It's all pushed together. Yeah, I'm just blowing it out and kind of cleaning it up. I haven't actually cleaned it too well yet. There's still some fuzz here. But yeah, I thought I'd show that to you. And I recommend nobody entering into these at all, into any power supply, if you have no idea about power and what to look out for. So definitely stay out of them. I deal with a lot of electronics, so this is no biggie to me. I know exactly what I'm dealing with, so I don't have to worry about that. So it's pretty well done to test. Everything is in except for the drive. This fan's not going to work yet because it's not plugged in. But yeah, should run. We'll find out here soon. But before I actually turn it on, I got to clean that up. That way I can stick it over here and then plug it into that top monitor and give it a try and see if it works. And then if it does, I can proceed to clean that and then all the other little things and put it all back together and go from there. I did try to cable manage it as best as I can. There's just so many cables in here. It looks a lot better than it did. Everything has harnesses now, which is great. All right, thought I'd actually record this part on getting everything set up. That way you guys see I'm not bluffing. Gotta grab the DVI cable first. Now I really wish I can get these drivers to work for this GPU, but it's not working at all. The driver will install halfway, and then you can see that it looks like the driver is installed and everything looks all pretty and whatnot. And then it just undoes itself. It says that I can't install, which is a little weird. I think that was like a GTX 550. I have it written on the desktop. Yeah, good enough. Plug you in to a port. This card just had HDMI. I don't have mini to normal standard HDMI. But okay, next part. Let's do the keyboard and mouse first before I do the power. There's that $2 keyboard that I made a review on. Right up to the top. So let's move you to the back. I'll do a test on that port after. First of all, we'll see if this thing even boots. Here, I'll move the keyboard over here. The mouse over here. Why aren't you going in? Oh, there we go. Goes in one way. Power. Before I plug it in, I just want to quickly look again. That's all plugged in. Everything there's plugged in. That's plugged in. That's unplugged, of course. That's all plugged in. That's doing absolutely nothing there. That's all plugged in. Yeah, I'm sure it's good. I double checked everything. Oh, I can hear the pump. It's obviously got air in it. Alert CPU fan failure. They put it in the right area. Maybe it's meant to go into another spot. That literally made this fan spin. Cool. I don't hear the pump anymore, so obviously it's got liquid in it. One thing I want to know is if it's going to show the RPM for the fans and the pump. You're on an SSD. Why are you so slow? Unless there's an issue with that SSD, I don't know. I just cloned it and that was it. Get a desktop. Yeah, you're slower than beans. Chop chop. One thing I noticed with Windows 11 is when you go to drag an icon from the Explorer, the background is white instead of transparent. I just want to double check to see if it's like that on here too. No, it's transparent. It's totally white on Windows 11. So I have 3 PCs in front of me. There's a potato, the Alienware, and there is my main PC. That's this one right here. That one that I just built. Let's look at this one. You can see it's a white background. Let's open it up. Let's just click on this. Yeah, and then there's this PC. So you can see it's a white background. It's not transparent. Let's go to the main PC. So you see it's white. So yeah, that's pretty dumb. For some weird reason. Okay, everything's loaded enough now. Good enough? Okay, command center. Please show some stats instead of 0. It still shows 0, so it still failed. Okay. Yeah, there's an issue with that master I/O board then. Well, that sucks. I was hoping I would have fixed that. Well, let's see if this USB port works. See if there's anything coming out of it. Yep. We actually got writing. Alright, also that port works. What about the USB-C? Or I mean the USB 3.0. Yeah, it works too. Good. Well, at least some things are fixed. CPU is at 48 Celsius right now. It's 47. Radiator's warm, so obviously it's working. I can see it up here if you want to see it for yourself. See that it's at 41 right here, 40. So my new PC just sits usually around like 35 to 38. I really wish the command center would work. I'm going to give one other shot with it again. I'm going to shut you down. And usually you just like unplug it and hold the power button for a certain amount of time, and then you plug it back in, which this thing was unplugged for like 3 or 4 days, so I doubt this is going to work, but I'll give it a shot. Unplug it. Okay. Are all the lights working? So far. Oh, I don't want a command prompt, I want a command center. Yeah, no hard drive, RPMs, no ambient sensors at all. This PCI and hard drive fan, but a system fan. Yeah, that master I/O board would have to be replaced. Typical, like I said, it's not if they fail, it's when they fail, and they always fail. Every single Alienware PC I had, they all fail in some way. I should actually see if the side panel works. This is another thing I had fail on me with the master I/O board, is taking a panel like this while the PC's on, and all I had to do was this, and it would spaz the hell out. But I didn't do it here. Can we control the fins here? Let's close them for a second. I just want to make sure they close. Yep, they closed. I like to keep them open. Oh, I want to show you something. That's the wrong command center. Why do I have this command center? Windows must have changed the freaking... What? Now it's right. And now it's wrong. Whatever. If it wasn't for me manually setting the fans, this is what I'd be hearing all the time. Prepare yourself. Really? It's actually spartaned up? Usually it would just run at max. Let's stick at the max. This is normally what it sound like when I boot up the PC or go into the BIOS or do anything like that. It would sound like this. Yep. It's normally what it sounds like. And let's move back to where I normally have set. Okay. Well, really wish the master I/O board would work and would actually show the sensors. Unfortunately, it isn't. But hey, at least it's not screaming like you just heard. And the BIOS and the boot screen. Actually, I should look at that. USB ports are fixed. Those are totally dead, except for the one. That's why I actually had one of these things here. And one of these little things dangling off the side of the PC. That way I could stick a bunch of USB ports on it. Just hang off on the side right here. But I don't need that anymore. Hell, I don't need this thing anymore either, but at least I got a backup. CPU's at 40. I think it used to sit a little bit lower than that. I can't remember. I'm used to the new one now. Yeah, this is warm. So let's see the BIOS for a second. I guess putting that cable in a little bit more actually helped out a bit. Cause yeah, these fans would be ramped up right now and I'd be hearing a jet, but I'm not hearing a jet right now, which is good. So obviously putting that in a little bit more actually fixed that part. Well, I think the next part I'm gonna do is clean off the little thing here, put that part on, put the side piece and the door. Oh wait, no, I gotta get this fan going and stuff too. Then I gotta put the strips in. I'm gonna finish cleaning up the rest of this. I'm gonna reassemble it and get back to you. I was in the middle of making some room. That way I can store this Alienware PC and I found the power button. Yay. So I got the power button back on the front cover here. I used a little bit of glue and then some masking tape and I blacked it out, but yeah, this isn't going anywhere. You can now put it on and the power button will be there. It works, does what it's supposed to do. So this thing's pretty much complete now. Everything's nice and clean in the inside. There's obviously scuff marks because, well, it's been well used. It's got one of its original GTX 555s in there. The other one is sitting right here, which I'm eventually going to rip apart and throw some MX4 on it as well, just like I did with that one. I finally got the drivers to work, which is great. I had to use Windows updates to do that and find the correct version of the driver that would work, and it does work now, which is awesome. But yeah, this thing's pretty well good to go. I found a place to put it and store it. I'm gonna throw it in a trash bag, that way it stays clean, and store it on my bookshelf until one day if I need it, I can use it as a backup. But yeah, it's a good little PC. It's just, you know, have no use for it anymore. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys a couple of the Alienware Aurora books. This one here is the oldest and it's the thickest one. This one was from August of 2009. This one here, which actually still has a sticker on the Alienware head, is from October. So one's from August and one's from October of 2009. So this one's a little bit newer and obviously it's less thick. Now this would tell you everything about the Alienware Aurora in different languages. But, yeah, it had a bunch of useful things in here like the beep codes, which was probably one of the pages I had here. Yeah, it's the beep codes here. So 1 is motherboard failure, 2 is no RAM, 3 is possible motherboard failure, 4 RAM, wire failure, 5, I'm reading this upside down. Real-time clock failure, 6 is video card chip failure, and 7 is processor failure. Another page I had was, oh, I guess phone numbers here. But there was another one with RAID, which was actually very useful. Like if you wanted to do RAID, configuration. It would tell you exactly the correct RAID configurations. I'm not sure if their RAID was different than others. Let's go to the index of this. Let's have a look here. Okay, I gotta look on your side here. So RAID chapters, working with RAID 25. All right, so let's go to page 25. So yeah, it says RAID 0, RAID 1, what it is, which is really nice. So you had RAID 0, 1, RAID 5, and 10, or what you could do with it. So yeah, these were actually very neat books. The back of it, you were able to put all your CDs and whatever in here. I got a bunch of CDs, and a lot of it's a lot of Windows 7 Home Premium. So yeah, there's a Windows 7 Home Premium disc right here. You got the Resource DVD, drivers, utilities. I had other Dell stuff, my D-Link, Logitech camera software, Roxio, my old printer, one of my old capture cards, another capture card, and another Alienware Windows Home Premium, and some Cisco router. This one here is actually starting to fall apart. You kind of see it's leaving marks everywhere. So yeah, this one's degrading already. Yeah, there's a bunch of marks up here too, you can see it. This one had pretty much the exact same thing. It was just less of everything. Give you your connection types, everything here that you would want to know about. But yeah, I don't know if any of you guys seen these books before. Like, probably not unless you had the Alienware from day one. But yeah, they stopped putting these in with the Auroras long after. So yeah, you guys may not have ever seen these books. Again, we got another Resource DVD, drivers, utilities, drivers and documentation, another Windows 7 Home Premium 64. Again, probably clones. Another Windows 7 Home Premium 64. Then I even have Windows Vista Home Basic sitting here, but it's 32-bit. What is this one? Vista Home Basic again, 32-bit Service Pack 1. Windows XP Home Premium Service Pack 2. Yeah. And then a couple empty spaces for something. But yeah, they're neat little things. This one isn't falling apart yet. Well, maybe starting to. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But yeah, they're starting to show their age now. See, it's all mucked up in the back there. Leaving stuff everywhere. I just wanted to show you that little neat history on what these things actually came with. So there's one other thing I wanted to show, and this pretty much came with every single Alienware Aurora PC. You'd have the big giant box, and then inside that box would be this box, which is the utilities like the keyboard, whatever, and then you'd have another smaller box which would have the Alienware Aurora PC. So I wanted to actually show you what's in this one. At the very top here, we have a mouse pad. This one actually has been fixed. The plastic itself was actually peeling from the rubber back, which is in great shape. These usually just wear out over time. Then, right here, you have you'd have a cloth, you would have your cables or whatever in here. Your mouse would be sitting in here, your keyboard would be right here. You get a hat and then a couple of these stickers. This one's different than others, but that's where the book would be. Keyboard itself, this is a used keyboard. I had one unused for years. So I decided to start using it because all my other ones were worn out and this one was being used by somebody else. But it's been all cleaned up and it works too. So you see it's wrapped up. So I have another like 3 of these things kicking around here. So yeah, there's quite a few of them. And I'm still using an Alienware mouse pad, which is actually really handy. I like these mouse pads. They work really good with your mouse. Most of the fiber mouse pads, sometimes your mouse cursor will eventually skip when the mouse pad gets dirty. With this one, it doesn't do that. I'll probably continue to keep using that mouse pad. But yeah, there's an Alienware hat here. Oh, what's this? Holy crap. I didn't even know this was here. What is this? So DVI to VGA. I didn't even know that was in there. Alrighty then. I never took the hat out. But yeah, you got a memory cloth in here and whatever. So it's a nifty little box. I'll leave that booklet there. You can stay there. But yeah, I thought I'd show that. And yes, I got multiple mouse pads. There's another one right there. This one here, like I said, the bottom eventually starts wearing out. This one actually did that. The rubber on it was actually starting to turn to a liquid. It was liquefying, just like the book is starting to do. You've seen the smear marks on the bottom right here. Yeah, it's starting to go that way too. But I ended up rubbing all that off the other day. And I might find some type of new rubber to stick on here. And then reuse this one. It's time for a little bit of a montage. Yeah, like I said, good PC. I'm glad I still have it, and I'm glad it actually still works. Got everything fixed except for the door. I might actually take this face off again and fix that because it's kind of skipping gears going up, but it's not a really big deal. It's just a worn out spring, and the little piece of plastic gear that's in there, the oil itself is pretty tough, so it's obviously reason why it's bouncing up of the teeth of the door itself. I am still using one of those Alienware keyboards on the new system. I'm still using the mouse pads. I love these mouse pads. I'm kind of getting tired of the KG900 keyboard though. I've been using that thing for years. I did get a Corsair RGB keyboard, which was a memory pad one. I don't know if I made a video of it or not, but if I did, I'll put it in the screen right now. That one there, that thing is a piece of junk. The memory keyboards now, they'll have like a plastic sheet layer, and it'll have a bunch of wire traces on it, and then they'll have another sheet layer that'll have more wire traces that would touch and connect with the top layer. And that keyboard had, I think it was 3 layers. So you'd have 3 layers of traces just for the button presses, and if there's any type of dust that gets in between the layers, it would start screwing up the keystroke. So I would have the F key pushing as a D key, and some of the other keys just would randomly start spamming a bunch of letters, And then it just got to the point where I had to take it apart, clean it, and then put it back together, and then it would work, only for a short time, and then it started doing that same crap again. It's like, whatever, enough of that. I'd go back to the KG900, never had an issue with it ever since. But, well, actually, the KG900 actually has its own issues too. Have your thumb near the left-hand side of the space bar eventually wear out there, and the space bar would just bend and not actually push down. That was one of the flaws with it. That's some serious use in order to have it have that problem. Anyway, it's time to retire this thing. I'm done with it. I think the next keyboard I'm going to get is a mechanical one, and I was looking at one from MSI. It's some silent key press one. I might do a review on that one. I think there's only one video up on YouTube on that, and it's a decent price too. Since I got a MSI motherboard, why not get an MSI keyboard? I got the software installed, so it's already good to go for that. I'm eventually going to put that GTX 1080 back in here, but I'm looking at a 5070 right at the moment. We'll see what happens when time comes, but I think I might bring out that Corsair Obsidian case again. I really want to get those USB 2.0 ports working here sometime soon. Oh, and there's one other thing too. I ended up making a video clip when I started putting that PC together, and I was working with the piezoelectric speaker. I ended up soldering one together, and it didn't sound very good. I don't know if that's actually the way that the motherboard was interpreting the speaker, but I'm going to end up showing that clip when I actually bring that PC out. And I have some new piezoelectric speakers coming here soon. It should be on the 18th of this month. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully it won't sound like crap. It'd be actually nice to have some type of beep. And there's a reason why I want to do the beep codes. You'll see. This thing does it really good. And if it sounds like crap, I'll go to this one and I'll explain why I'm doing all that. You'll hear it on here. It'll sound really good. I can play the Wii sounds through the piezoelectric speaker. Or MASH. Or Beetlejuice. Or Super Mario. Zelda? I did it all on that thing. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please rate, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.